Everybody's having a good day. Even though this is a travel channel, I'd like to bring some content that makes your day more pleasant if I can. Um, just want to say out there to the internet world, if you're having a tough time in life, you need a friend, come join the lives. I'm here to be your friend. I had some tragedies happen to me in my life that took me down a really bad hole that I was able to recover from. So if life's giving you a tough time, hang in there. It will get better. Just have some positivity in your life, have some kind of routine, get up and do things. I uh, I retired at 55. I was lucky enough. I worked for a government agency. I was able to actually start getting my retirement at 55. I'm gonna make some pressed coffee this morning, just so you guys know. Um, if you've never done pressed coffee before, man, it's a game changer. Hopefully, get some people in here. I'm just gonna keep going until we get a few people coming in here. Um, This will get posted on our channel as a live or as a regular video. I think the lives are just a great way to kind of show people it's not just regurgitated information, because you see that a lot now on the internet. It's just like it's with AI and the invention of AI, and it's a lot of things are happening in the internet that just becomes redundant. It's the same old stuff over and over. It's just everybody's using the same resources, and it's just becomes a regurgitation of the same stuff over and over. So our channel is really about travel, and that's why I'm on here live this morning. I'm thinking about doing a trip up 395 up to Convict Lake and the Mono Lake area. I've never went to Mono Lake. I've always wanted to go to Mono Lake. And Mono Lake is a kind of a neat area where they have these uh, formations that were formed from the salt and the water. So really elaborate formations that are all over Mono Lake. Good morning to you. So I'm gonna make some pressed coffee this morning. It's not what the channel's about, it's pressed coffee. It's more about travel. But I want to talk to you about how if you have a partner, how it can become very excuse me, it can become very helpful if you both have your own duties when you're gonna take a trip. Um, Betsy's really good at getting our stuff ready and she bags everything up. Hey, everybody, welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by on the live. I'm making pressed coffee. I'm going to show you guys how to make some killer pressed coffee. My name's Go Big. I have two channels. This is my other channel, so we just been kind of using this channel to kind of build a community, and we do travel. We just got back from a trip to the Bahamas. We are so lucky to be able to go do that. But we do day trips in California, where you can make a trip, get back to your home in a day without having to spend money on a motel room, and we give tips and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm thinking about trying to do Mono Lake. If any of you have been to Mono Lake, leave that in the comments what you thought about it. I've always wanted to go, and there's another lake up there called Convict Lake, and I was thinking about maybe even doing a trip to Tahoe and doing an episode on that. So anyway, to get the day going, good morning, everybody. I wanted to, Mr. Nihadi. No, I have not. So good morning to everybody. I'm gonna make some pressed coffee here this morning. This ain't about cooking. I just end up being in the kitchen, it seems like, every time I do a live. So my name's Go Big. I'm a retired mechanic. I retired early at 55. Had a tragedy in my life, so I learned how to cook. So one of the things I want to bring to the channel is a helping hand to other people, and know that, hey, if you're having a rough time in life right now, it's okay, man. It's going to be all right. I've been through a lot, and I'm just here to tell you that whatever's happening in your life, you will come through the other side, even though sometimes you think, man, I'm not going to make it. Yeah, it'll happen. Just have a routine, get up, have a routine every morning, doing something, you know. Hi, buddy, Ared Og. How you doing? I try to respond to you guys when you come in the room. If I see you, leave a comment. If you guys would, leave a comment where you're from. So anyway, I had a tragedy. I lost my wife of 40 years to pancreatic cancer. And so I was left, you know, having to fend for myself. So, and I went through a lot of grief and trying to figure out life in general. So I got some uh, experience in that regard. You know, I lost my mom when I was 25 from cancer as well. So I'm here to tell you that if you're going through those things in your life right now, hang in there and just come hang out on the lives. We can sit here, we can talk, chat, whatever you want to do. You got a friend in me, believe me. I know what you're going through, and it's a tough gig. So anyway, we're gonna do. If you've never made press, so we just went to the Dominican Republic, and I got some coffee at this place. It was an organic place, and the coffee's a Santiago something. It's an organic coffee, and I've become a coffee snob. I used to not be that, but Betsy kind of turned me into that. So I'm going to show you how to do pressed coffee. So pressed coffee is just like a beaker like this. You take this, you put your coffee grounds inside here. I got one of those pots that you turn on and it makes the water boil. Put your coffee in, fill this with water, and set a timer for 4 minutes. And so you want to do the 4 minute thing. And then right before I pour it, I'll stir it with a stick. And if you've never had pressed coffee before, try it. These things are real cheap. You can buy these for like 10-15 bucks new. And Bodum is the one I like to get, because the big thing with a press is the part that presses. You want one that keeps all the filtering done. This one needs to be tightened up a little bit. There we go. So anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put 3 scoops. So about 4 scoops is a pot of coffee. So 3 scoops of this stuff, that'll get your day going, believe me. So 3 scoops, 1, 2, 3. Then we'll get to talking about traveling. So I already got the water ready. So this is one of those pots that boils the water, and you just flip the lever and it'll tell you when it's hot. So you just go ahead and you just want to go in a big circle, kind of like that. You can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Hang on. I'm going to do this right. This manipulation of the camera is the hardest part sometimes. So here's my beaker. I'm just going to put that right in there. Just kind of swirl it around. So that's just coffee. That's, you know, I like to use the bean and crush it, but we don't have any bean right now. So anyway, so then I'll just set alarm for 4 minutes. Alexa, set alarm for 4 minutes.
4-minute alarm set for 5:12 a.m.
And then once the alarm goes off, I like these little chopsticks. These are great. They're little wooden chopsticks. And I'll stir it right before I pour it. I'll stir that and then press it and then pour it. So anyway, so if you go to Starbucks a lot and you think how great the coffee is, and how it tastes, it's this pressed coffee is pretty good, you know. So anyhow, we're losing people. I can see it already. So anyway, so one of the things I want to talk about is get prepared in the morning when you're taking a trip. So I'll put a recipe, and this ain't about cooking channel. It just seems like it always comes up a lot. I do like these breakfast cereal bars that you can make in a pan. They're just honey, so it's natural sugar, and it's peanut butter, and then you add toasted oats and peanuts and that kind of stuff. And I make those when we're going to go on a trip, because you can just put like 2 or 3 in a bag or 4 in a bag and head out the door on the way out the door for the morning when we're taking a big trip. And the other thing is get your bags ready the night before. Have your breakfast ready, and then have dual roles. So have one person figure out the route, and the other person can get everything ready and into the vehicle, ready to go. And here's something to keep in mind when you're traveling. When you're traveling with somebody else and it's just the two of you, or maybe four or five, whatever, just remember that you got to be willing to give and take because everybody wants to do certain things. So just remember that when you're traveling, is be open to other people's suggestions and what they want to do or what they're excited about, or if they got to stop and get something to eat or use the restroom. Keep that in mind when you're traveling because you want it to be fun. You don't want it to be a negative thing. You want to get back from the trip and say, man, I had such a good time. So anyway, we're talking about either taking a trip to Lake Tahoe, or that's what I've been talking about. I haven't told Betsy yet, so we'll see. I'm in kind of a doghouse right now with her, so I'm not an easy guy sometimes to deal with, and when I get upset, I just kind of go off on my own and I ignore everybody. So that's probably Vietnam. Really? Welcome to the channel, Vietnam. So anyway, just be willing to give and take, and try to share all the duties when you're on a trip, like, figuring out the gas or where you're going. And if you start getting frustrated because you got lost, just pull over. There's my timer. Alexa, off. So once you have your coffee in there for 4 minutes, you just stir it like that. I just give it a good stir. And this is a part that everybody thinks is hard, but it's really not. To press coffee, it's just this little thing right here goes in the top. And once you get it on there, you just press this down. Just take it real slow like that. It's hard to do holding it up here, but you just press that down. And what that does, that separates the coffee grounds from the coffee. And in the morning, if you're like in a hurry and you don't want to like wait for coffee to boil, you can make this in 4 minutes and out the door you go. So once that's down all the way, it has a little screen right here. You want to turn this until the screen is showing so you can pour the coffee. And now it's just like any other coffee. But man, you talk about flavor. This pressed coffee really tastes so different than drip coffee. It just has such a different flavor to it. I usually use some of this caramel sweetener. I'm pre-diabetic, so I gotta watch how much sugar I take in. So that's a non-sweetener. And then usually like some cream. I'll throw some milk in it today. Anyway, I thought I'd just make a real quick live this morning. Talk to a few people. Yeah, coffee. Own. Yeah, so I got this coffee from Dominican Republic when we were on our cruise from an organic coffee farm where they make the coffee and they do the whole thing there. And it was all done organically. And man, this coffee tastes amazing. So coming up, if you live in Northern California and you've made some trips here locally, if you would in the comments, leave in there things that you think that we should add to the channel. And let me know if you like these little like tips about a little cooking or coffee and like doing breakfast stuff, because I'm a pretty good cook. I learned by default because I lost 40 pounds and I was shriveling up to be not shriveling up, but I felt like a skeleton. So my neighbor she taught me how to cook. So anyhow, I know a lot of you are probably just getting up and going to work. I want to talk a little bit about retirement. So one thing I want to recommend to people is if you don't have life insurance, get some. Because, I set all my financials up so if something was to happen to me, my wife was set for life. I never thought that I would outlive her, and I did, and it put me in a bad spot. What's your name? My name's Brian. My name's Brian. They call me Go Big. I was asked by Thang Nguyen Wan. Hope I said that right. I'm trying. So if you don't have life insurance, you should get life insurance when you're young, because once you retire, it's really expensive, and so it put me in a bad spot. I had to go back to work. I had been retired for 5 years, and I had to go back to work part time. And if any of you are in part of the PERS system, let me explain to you a little bit how that goes. So with PERS, you can go back to work in your regular job, but you can only work 960 hours per calendar year. If you go over that, they take all your money that they paid you for the year, they make you pay it back. So you don't want to go 1 hour over 960 hours. Hey, rat, fat brat. How you doing? That's pretty good. So you don't want to ever go over your 960 hours. And what that does for me, I'm allowed to keep my retirement, and I'm allowed to make money. I am allowed to make money on and still keep my retirement, but I can only make up to 960 hours, and then I'm done. So, it works out pretty good if you can go back to work part-time and work, but you don't get any benefits when you do that. So you don't get any vacation time, sick time. You don't get medical. Excuse me, I've been fighting this little cough. So you don't get all that, but it's a good gig because last year I worked 2 days a week. And I'm a mechanic. I've done that for 40 years. Where are you from? I'm from California in the United States. That's where I'm from. Northern California. And so, I'm lucky enough to have earned a retirement, and but I had plans, that didn't work out because I lost half of my income when my wife passed. So when my wife passed, I couldn't financially make it on what I made on my retirement. And so I went back to work, and it worked out pretty good because I get to work this year I'm only going to work 3 days a week. So I'll work 6 months for the year. I'll work 3 days a week for 6 months, then I'm off for 6 months, and I'm working it out. So I'm off during the summer. So that's the time I can travel, and I can work on the travel channel. I have another channel, Go Big Garage. I'm a mechanic, so a lot of my content is really about automotive stuff. And I'll talk a little bit. I got a couple projects going right now. So I picked up a Harley that's an 84 Harley Davidson first year Evolution. And I got it dirt cheap. So I'm going to try to sell that to make some extra money while I'm off. And then I picked up a 94 F250 with a 7.3 IDI that I'm working on. So that's kind of the projects I got going other than the travel channel. And that's part of the travel channel. We're going to try, I should do a video, a walkthrough of this pretty cool old motorhome I have. So I got a 1987 Country Coach. And if you've never been inside a Country Coach, it sounds really old, 87. I know it sounds old, but I'm telling you, these old Country Coaches were probably some of the best built RVs they ever built, because they used to build them one at a time back then. So I'll have to do a walkthrough of the motorhome, because it's a 30-footer. It's a gas rig, and that's why I was talking to people about saving money on gas. When you save money driving a motorhome, it's a big savings, because sometimes in a motorhome, you might be traveling 500 miles. And if you can save $1 a gallon on gas, that's a big savings. 500 gallons. Sometimes you'll burn 500 gallons on a trip. So you can save $500 on your trip if you can get it for $1 a gallon cheaper. And I'll give you a little tip: is whenever you're on the road in California, hit all the casino, the Native American casino gas stations, because they don't pay state sales tax on their gas, so they can sell it cheaper. Usually it's 50 cents a gallon cheaper, sometimes upwards of $1 cheaper a gallon. So anytime you're traveling on the North Coast, if you can get to a Native American tribe gas station, you can usually save a lot of money by doing that. And there's other gas stations that you can save money on too. But you know, for instance, my old motorhome only gets 7 miles a gallon. And what you trade with the motorhome is what you would have paid to stay at a room, you spend in gas. So it's about the same cost. So if you like staying, I personally don't like going into different hotels, motels, and stuff because when I take the motorhome, I get to take my bed with me. I don't have to sleep where somebody else has slept. I don't have to worry about, you know, what the neighbors around me are going to be doing. And if I'm in a campground that I don't like, I can always just get up and drive away. And when you're driving down the road, we leave the AC going as we're driving down the road. It's nice and cool and air conditioning in the motorhome. You can take your pet with you if you have one. So there's a lot of advantages to traveling in a motorhome. So if there's any motorhome travelers out there, put a comment down below. You know that you know you travel. My plan was to go full time. And my life just changed drastically. I had, you know, got my house prepped to be sold, and I was just going to go on the road and travel for a year or two and just see how I liked it. And I hopefully I can do that still someday. I hope I can. But anyway, I just want to do live. Try this pressed coffee. If you've never had pressed coffee, get you a coffee press. It's so much different taste to it. So I'm gonna try to do one of these lives. You know, I'd like to do them a couple times a week. We haven't got a lot of traction on the live, but I'm just gonna keep it up because I think the lives are a great way to get a community going and get people to kind of get to know you a little bit. You know, more of a personal. You know, create a group where we can come together and talk about stuff and you know, it is about travel, but really it's about quality of life. You know, figure out. You know, I want to give you some advice from a guy that lost his wife when she was 60 years old. Figure out what you enjoy in life and go do that because life is short. You never know when you never know tomorrow could be that you don't know. You really don't know. And so, you know, people save up all their money and stash cash and cash and cash, but you know that money doesn't do you anything. Memories is what you want in life. You want to look back and see the memories that you had. And you'll realize when you go through this is that all your assets and all the things that you think are so important, when death comes to a loved one, you'll find out that it doesn't have any value at all. It means nothing. So that's what the traveling is about, is get out there, go have some fun. You know, don't make yourself broke, but take the time to live. We spend so much time just work, 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 save, 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 pay it off, pay it off. And you know what? You don't want to spend your whole lifetime and look back and go, what I do with my life, I worked all the time. You know, you got to find some value in your life and do things, make yourself important too, you know. So if you like going to the beach, go to the beach. If you like photography, get out there on your trips and go do some photography. You know, if you like hot rods, go see some car shows. Go do those things. Make you a short term and a long term goal every year. Say, this year, I'm going to do this one thing that I've been wanting to do forever. And you know, have a long term goal. Say, hey, this is my bucket list. I want to start shaving these things off my bucket list. And I tell you, I got this thing, and I hope someday I'm able to do it because I really want to do it, and I don't know. I'm gonna just try them, and maybe I can figure it out somehow. And that is, I want to ride my Harley across Australia. I want to ship my bike to Australia. I want to spend one summer riding across Australia. just me, you know, and hopefully I can talk Betsy into going with me. She doesn't like hot weather, so I don't know if she's gonna like Australia on the back of that bike going across the desert. But anyway, um, I hope everybody has a great day today. I know it's early. Most people are getting up and going ready to work. And this, let me tell you, you know, for my guy that's not going to work today, I did that from the time I was 13 years old until I was 55. And I got up every day. I did the 5 o'clock every morning thing. And I'm still doing that. I'm getting ready to go back to work. I'll be going back to work and I'll work um, October, November, December, January, February, March, probably. Either that or I'll work November, December, January, February, March, April. So I'll be off during the good weather so I can do some riding. And I have projects. I do automotive projects, you know, build trucks and motorcycles and that kind of stuff just to keep me busy. I'm gonna be 61 years old in October. So, but I'm still pretty healthy, so I get out there and wrench on the cars and stuff. And I do a lot of DIY stuff. Like yesterday, I built a big heavy duty gate for my back property because when I leave, I'm always afraid somebody's going to come through the back. So most people have a poor sense of that everything's going to be safe with a little gate. Gates are the worst thing. People kick a gate open in a heartbeat. So I built a gate that you're not going to kick open. You kick that gate, you're probably going to have to go to the doctor. You know, I built it out of 2x6, heavy duty hinges, double latch so I can put a lock top and bottom. I'm always afraid somebody's going to try to come steal my bikes when I'm gone. So I got that going on. And then I used to have an American Bulldog that used to protect the property, but he passed. And I've been reluctant to get another dog because I like to travel and I don't want to leave my dog home alone, or I have to get my neighbor to watch him, and that's kind of a pain. So I think I'm going to get another dog for out back. But anyway, yesterday I built a gate. I did some repairs on a gate, and then we took some bushes out, hedges out to make some more room for other projects that we have going on. So the travel channel is just really about, you know, trying to prepare you guys as our subscribers. And if you would, if you haven't subscribed, will you subscribe, please? That helps us a lot. That's really what we need is subscribers. So you'll get a notification when we have a new live or a new video come out. Go check out some of our videos. We just did a lightning strike video. Go check that one out. So we were on a cruise and the ship right next to us was struck by lightning. I was probably standing 200 yards from where it hit the ship. It got my attention, made me run inside. You know, so it was pretty close. It was in Celebration Key. It's Carnival's property there. So go check out that video. It was pretty something to get that on camera. So I do a lot of photography. I've been doing photography for years. I like to do black and white, but now I just start doing all this video because when you see me doing that, I'm trying to see how many people are in the room. I'll tell you a little story about while we're talking right here about my eyes, and I'll tell you, so I'll prepare you not to wait. I had an issue go on with one of my eyes that it's just started getting kind of blurry, and I thought it was my glasses. And I put it off for about a week, and it kept getting worse and worse. And then one day I woke up and there was all this like stuff floating around on my eye, and I couldn't even see. And then I went to the doctor, and he said, "Oh, let's give it a day or two." And then I got up one morning, I couldn't even see myself in the mirror when I closed my one eye. And I said, "Oh boy, there's something wrong." So I went to the doctor, and what had happened, my retina had become detached from my eye. And what they told me is if I would have had it taken care of in the office when it first happened, they could have just did a little tack weld and it would have been fine. And I could have just been right in the office. Brazil, that's awesome. Welcome, Brazil. Alan, welcome from Brazil. So anyway, I waited. So when I went in, the doctor said, "Man," he goes, "you got to go in for emergency surgery tomorrow." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." He goes, "Nope, we got to do surgery." He says, "Your retina has become detached from your eye." you're at risk of losing your eyesight in that one eye. So the next day I had to go in and they did surgery on my eye. And I'll tell you what, if you start feeling fuzzy eyed, like blurry, go have your eye looked at because they can fix it if you but if you wait too long, it'll break away from the eye and then you got a real problem. I was like, I think I was like 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And when you first do it, you got to lay face down like this. You can't turn your head side to side. You can't do anything. You got to keep your head down on a pillow like this. You can't look to side. You can't look up. All you can do is just this like this. And man, what a thing that was. But anyway, eyes doing better now. I just say that so if you ever see that in your vision, where your vision just started getting kind of blurry, go have it looked at because they can fix it. But if you wait too long, then you got to go in for surgery. And the surgery ain't no joke, man. They go in there and they suck all the fluid out of your eye, and then they put a needle in there and they put this gas inside your eye and they tack weld it. And then it's a nightmare. You can't move your head. For 2 days, I had to lay face down in bed, and I couldn't move like this. That was the worst part of the whole thing. If you just think about laying on your bed right now like this, face down in the pillow, and you can't move your head for sometimes it goes like 4 or 5 weeks like that. But I was lucky enough because where the tear was, they said I could turn on my side. So anyway, there's a little bit of information for you. If you see fuzzy, go see the eye doctor. It's easier to have it taken care of now than wait until it breaks away. And they said it's really common for people between 50 and 60 for your retina. There's like a film that breaks away, and sometimes when it does, it rips, and it rips that retina. Anyway, so we're looking at probably, I don't know if we're going to be able to make the trip this weekend, and we're thinking about, I'm thinking, I haven't talked to Betsy yet. I'm in the doghouse. She's probably going to tell me to go pee up her rope. But I was thinking about doing either Lake Tahoe or I'd like to go to Mono Lake. I've never been to Mono Lake, and I've always wanted to go, and I haven't went. And Mono Lake's probably a pretty unique place. It's where the salt water filled up, and then it went down, and then there was fresh water coming up. So there's these big, huge formations all over where the lake used to be. So it's kind of a dried up lake bed with these big calcifications sticking up out of the water, or sticking up out of the ground. So it's kind of a unique place to go visit. And I'm going to look and see what the mileage is, but I think we can make that trip in a day. So, if I'll post, hey, we're going to Mono Lake, come follow along. And then we'll do a video on, when we left, how far it was, where we ended up eating, what we thought of the whole trip, how long it took, the weather, everything. So this will be one of those trips that you can make in a day. Get up early, get to your destination, spend the day, make it back home before you have to rent a room. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to show people how to make a one-day trip where you get up, you prepared, you know where you're going, you get to where you're going within 3 hours, spend the day there, and come back. Sometimes we use our electric bikes, and the electric bikes allows you to see a lot more than if you're on foot. Electric bikes are a great way to explore, because you can travel so much more ground on an electric bike. And the prices have come down on them now over the years. I mean, they got some pretty good ones for under $1,000. I bought a pretty high-end one because I wanted I bought a fat tire electric bike. Me and Betsy both have one. And if you go look at our video of when we went to Fort Bragg, you'll see we rode our bikes right on the ocean. It was pretty cool. We rode right on the bank, right up to the water's edge. And we did on that trip, we actually spent one night over there. But what we did, we took our electric bikes, we got there early, we unloaded the bikes, spent all day at the beach and, exploring everything before our room was available. And then when the room became available the next day, we ventured out again. So it was a pretty good one night stay. So if you've never been to Fort Bragg, or you're thinking about going to Fort Bragg, go check out that video because we show you where to eat at, where to get gas, and where we stayed. Where we stayed was a little expensive, but the reason we chose that place is because it sits right on the old haul road. So we were able to park in the parking lot before our room was ready, get our bikes off, and get on that old haul road. And it takes you right along the coastline for like 6 or 8 miles, and you're right on the cliffs. It's just beautiful. And then we rode back, and then by the time we got back, our room was ready, and then we went and had lunch, and then we went and had dinner. So so it was a fun trip. And so anyway, I just want to end this live on a positive note and just know that everybody needs a friend in life. And come to the lives, hang out, talk, just have some chat. If life's getting you down, come hang out. It's gonna be okay. And I tell people that because I've been through some tragedy in my life. And I made it through to a happy life again. I lost my laughter for a long time, and I never thought I could get my laughter back. And just by sticking in there and being positive and just taking it one day at a time. And if you're in that situation, the best thing I can say to you is try to have a routine. If it's nothing more than getting up and walking around the block and back every morning, start with that. Grow a garden. Go see friends. Don't stick your head in the sand, because that's the worst place for you to be. When you're hurting and you got, your life has really dealt you some bad cards, you need to have your friends around you. And that's a nice thing about the internet. You can have friends online, and people that truly care about you. And I don't know who you are, but if your life is really rugged right now, you got a friend. I'll be your friend. That's a fact. And I'm not just saying that because I needed some friends in my life. My friends saved my life. They came to my door and beat on my door and said, "Hey, you got to get up. You're going to go with us. You're coming to dinner over at the house tonight. I don't care if you don't want to come, you're coming." And they forced me to get back into the swing of life and realize, even though you don't want to do nothing, you still have to live. And once you get past that process of grief in your life, you can smile again and you can have a good life. So just I just want you to give you a good encouragement that even when life seems like it's just the worst in the world, a week can make the difference. So don't give up. Get out there and have a routine every day, no matter what it is, as little as it is. And the other thing is, try this pressed coffee. I'm telling you, if you've never tried pressed coffee, you'll never go back. All right. So I got a lot to get done today. I've got I got a guy coming in, maybe looking at a bike today, and I got some work to do on my trailer. So, and I'll be going back to work soon, so I got to get all this stuff done. So anyway, if you see this in the replay on the travel channel, give us some feedback, leave some comments and stuff. It helps the algorithm out when you just leave a little comment, says where you're from or what you thought or where you have went. If you've been to Mono Lake that we're thinking about going to, please leave in the comments what you thought of Mono Lake, so we can get a good representation for everybody else. So anyway, if you're off to work this morning, I hope you have a great day. I hope your day goes wonderful. I hope it goes fast. I hope you get home and with a big smile on your face. Okay? From the Day Trippers channel, have a good day.